the 9 biggest manifestation blocks. Yes, it is correct. Blocks are only self-made. There are no real blocks, right? But these are questions that people ask themselves. These are questions that people ask me. I see those questions always again and again and again in the community. And if you know the answer to all of these 9 questions, then manifesting your desire will definitely be easier. So stay until the end to learn how to avoid all of these stumbling blocks. And with that, let's just dive right in and talk about the first block, which is this. My desire seems impossible or too big to attain. I hear this very often. Be honest to yourself. Maybe you've even said this for your desire. Maybe you've even felt that my desire seems impossible. It seems out of reach. It seems too big for me. I can't believe it right now. So these are my answers to that block. First of all, your desire is not too big, right? You make yourself too small. You lost yourself in the current circumstances, thinking that they're set in stone, that you have to obey them as they are, that they're final, and therefore your mind, of course, can't believe into like something else, that something else is possible for you, and that is normal. First of all, acknowledge that if you can't believe something that you've never manifested in your life, that is normal. Your mind has no reason to believe something that it has not yet, with its senses, experienced, because the mind will forever be tied to your senses, to what is right now in front of it. And if your desires are not there yet, of course, the mind cannot really believe it. However, when you start to dwell in the wish-fulfilled state, in the desired state, by consciously imagine it, for example, by feeling into what it would be like, you can develop a very deep belief and conviction that is not rational, that you cannot rational obtain. So the trust, the faith, the conviction that your desire is done, that's not rational. You can obtain that by, again, consciously imagining something or consciously dwelling in the wish-fulfilled state. And then you can start to believe. Then it starts to seem possible because you dwelt in it, because you know it is already so. Okay? And also, of course, if you make yourself small and you just think, these are my circumstances right now, I can't escape them, it will seem impossible. If you remember that your circumstances are a mirror, that they are not final, that once you move within consciousness, within your internal reality, that the external world will also change, then you stop making yourself small and you actually occupy whatever state it is that you want to occupy. Also, like I said, you place too much power on the circumstances and on the 3D world, which is what a lot of people do, right? They see something and they instantly lose themselves in the state. They lose themselves in the shadows. They lose themselves in their appearances, in the outside world, and let that affect their internal state and then perpetuate a cycle. I did a video on that, which is called How to Master the Mirror of Life. I will link this above right now, where you can basically check out this whole principle. Also, the only way out of this, right, the only way out if you feel that your desire is too big, it seems impossible, is that you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. AKA you align again with the desired state. You maneuver back in the wish-fulfilled state to acquire this naturalness about having it, to have this inner self-persuasion that it is done. And when you do that, then how can it seem big? It only seems big or not possible because it's very unnatural based from your current state. If you think of it, it seems out of reach, it seems hard to obtain, it seems far away. Once you think from it, because you see the world from that state, walk as though you are, right? You embody that new identity in the here and now, it will start over time to also feel natural and of course possible. Right? So your imagination puts you in connection with any state. It doesn't matter if it's like small, medium, or big. These are just labels, but there is no big. If you think in states, there is no big because everything is already laid out. There may be states that are unnatural because you've just looked into them, you've never occupied them, but all states are available within creation. Creation is finished. And you're not depending on your problems. Your problems are depending on you. Right? That is a key point. I want you to understand this, okay? You are not depending on your problems. Right? If you have a problem in your life, if that is in your relationship life, if that's in your health, if that's in your money, in your business, in somewhere in your personal life, in your friendships, then you're not dependent on the problem. You don't have to obey that. This is not final. This is not a set in stone fact that will now forever be that way, right? The problem depends on you. If you keep nurturing it, if you keep reacting on it, if you keep bringing it into your awareness again and again and again, reinfect yourself again and again and again, then yes, it will of course manifest over and over again and stay there. If you basically subtract your attention from it and put your attention on the desired thing, so it dies in your awareness and you only give life to what you want to experience, then this circumstance will no longer stay and will actually change. And only from your current state it might seem too big, like I explained before, right? If you look on top of the mountain from below and you look on top of the mountain, yes, it will seem far away and very big and very complicated. If you internally put yourself already on top of the mountain, already in your wish fulfilled, in being it, in having achieved your goal, then it will no longer seem big, only when you view it like separate from you. So that's the first block and kind of like how to overcome it. Let's talk about the second one, which is I don't know if I'm in the right state. I just don't know. I did some techniques, I applied that, I imagined that, I followed Devil's principles and all of that, but I just don't know if I'm in the right state yet. Well, first of all, this question implies that you're actually not in the right state if you still ask this question, because if you were in the right state, you would not ask it. And there's one reason for that, which is that you can't look for something that already is yours. Meaning, when, like, I'm in a state right now of being YouTuber to some degree, or I don't know, having a business, having this, having that, being healthy, having achieved that, then I can no longer look for it or ask, am I in the state? No, I'm already naturally in it. I'm already habitually in that state. So therefore I cannot ask, am I in the state? Am I doing that right? If I'm naturally living in it. So as long as you ask this question, right, it indicates that you are not in your desired state yet. Because if you are, you just know. You just embody it habitually. You just view the world automatically from that state. Your self-talk matches that. Your mood is relaxed. Your reactions are matched to that new state. But you no longer ask, am I in the right state? So watch your self-talk, because that indicates your state. Right? Watch what you speak to yourself. Watch how you react to life. These are the two biggest indications that will reveal to you in which state you dwell within. And if you realize that your reactions and your self-talk hasn't changed yet, then go back to the end. Also here, again, maneuver back in the wish-fulfilled state. Feel back into it. Imagine it again. Occupy it again. Because while you are in it, you cannot ask, am I in the right state? You are it now. You are it here. And that is the only thing that matters. What do you have alive within yourself right now and right here? There's only the now. The only time that you can make a change in your internal world is right now. Past is imagined. Future is imagined. So there's only the now moment that you can decide where do you dwell. And the question is, where do you dwell within right now? And that should always match, of course, like your wish-fulfilled state. And if you fall out of it, that's not a problem, right? If you react in the opposite way, if you have a trigger, that's not the problem. The problem is if you then don't do anything about it. If you then just dwell on those reactions. But if you notice it, non-judgmentally observe that, and you maneuver back in the wish fulfilled, then you apply this in a very good manner. So another indicator, like I said, is your reactions towards life, people, circumstances, and events. Okay? So if you, in the future, say to yourself, I don't know if I'm in the right state, please be aware that once you state this, or as long as you state this, you are not fully in the end state. Because if you are, you just live in that state. You don't question, am I in it? Right? Another stumbling block is this. What can I do to speed up my manifestation? So now you understood the manifestation process. You kind of know that you need to shift within, that you need to go to the end. But how can I get it quicker? How can I manifest it quicker? What can I do in my world? Which actions can I maybe even do to speed up my manifestations? The answer is nothing. Straight to the point. Some of you will accept that and understand that. Some of you will be like, no, but it should be possible to speed it up. There should be something that I can do externally to get it quicker. Nothing. No. Okay? Nothing. Because change only happens within. The change is then mirrored back to you. What do you want to do out there if out there is only a mirror? I talked about that in the video that I linked previously above, which you can find on little eye icon, which is called the mirror principle. If life is only a mirror, which it is, then how can you speed up something in the mirror? If you go to your bathroom mirror and you look into the mirror image, how do you want that mirror image to speed up? No, you can only change within, and then the mirror in its own timing will reflect back where you stand within. Right? So only change your internal state. As long as you focus on speeding it up, wanting to get it quicker, you're trying to make something happen out there. But like I said, change happens only within. And then that change, that shift, that new state is reflected back to you. So you will only and ever do actions and have life experiences based on your state of consciousness, which is the source of everything. So Neville said this, right? It's a delusion to think that you can really do something to speed it up, because everything happens automatically once you are in the desired end state. Of course, what a lot of people do wrong is that they are in an old state, they have this desired state, and they try to do actions to become and to hopefully soon encounter the wish-fulfilled state while still operating from their old state, their old identity, their old convictions and assumptions and beliefs. That does not work, my friends. That does not work, right? We need to die to that old state. No worries, I'm not speaking about death. I mean dying to that state, letting go of that old state by occupying that new state fully and make it natural. And then you will have automatically new actions coming out of that new internal state that you don't even have to really worry about. But then you can't really think about how can I speed it up, because if you automatically and habitually and naturally dwell in the wish-fulfilled state within, then what do you want to speed up here? There is nothing to speed up if it is done within already. If you already internally have achieved the goal. Again, the wish fulfilled happens within you. The manifestation in the mirror, the manifestation in your circumstances is a consequence of the internal wish fulfilled in your inner reality, where you have accepted it, felt it, and like you know it to be done. So once you feel it's done, the need to speed things up also will fall away. That's the good news. And once you fully basically saturated in the wish fulfilled state, how could you want to speed something up when it's done for you? Nothing needs to be worked out. It's already done. You already encountered it. That was it. And then that is mirrored back to you. All right. Now, another one. I've been trying for a very long time, but nothing is happening. That's a huge one, right? I see this also in the like manifesting community in general, but also, of course, like in the Neville community, people say, okay, I've imagined this scene for weeks and months, but nothing is happening. This is what I like tell people that are in my private community. This is what helped me tremendously to get, like, to dissolve this block, because this is a block. This can be a subtle block, right? If you say nothing is happening, first of all, what are you imagining right now? If you say, oh yeah, I did this for this amount of time, but now nothing is happening, where is your attention dwelling? Where is your awareness dwelling? What do you right now focus on? It's on, okay, I did something to get something. That what I want to get is not here yet. So yeah, right now it's not there. You're not dwelling on the wish fulfilled. You're dwelling on lack. You're dwelling on doubts. You're dwelling on it's not there. And also, here's the big thing. Nothing needs to happen, right? Because it has already happened. That is what so many people get wrong. So many people go in their imagination, they go in their internal world to make something happen, right? So they think, oh yeah, like my imagination is this fancy little tool that I can use to get something in the real outside world. They go within and they say, yes, I'm doing all of this to get it soon, to get it quicker. But we learned that our internal reality, that is where it is done. And the external can only mirror what already is. It cannot mirror what you try to get. Meaning if you're internally in your imagination in this coming from this premise of I'm trying to make something happen, I'm doing this to get it done soon, what can you expect the mirror to show you? It will show you more of trying, more of it's not here yet, because it is not done for you within. So it needs to be fully done within, and then that what is already complete and done and natural will be reflected back in your circumstances. Right? So you don't imagine something that then needs to happen. You imagine because in the moment of imagining, that is the wish fulfilled. You encounter within consciousness, within the unseen reality, within your inner reality, you encounter the wish fulfilled. So dive in it. That is real. That is where you experience the wish fulfilled, and then it is mirrored back to you. That is what I said here, right? You imagine because in the moment of imagining it happens. This perspective is key. If you still imagine to make it happen, you can wait forever. Because your external world is only a reverberant, a echoing, a delayed mirror of where you stand within. So if nothing happens, quote unquote, right, if nothing happens, if there's no change in your outer circumstances, the problem is only your imaginal activities and not the circumstances. Don't blame the circumstances, don't blame the teachings, don't even blame yourself. But I challenge you and I ask you, from which premise do you imagine? Do you go in your imagination to soon in the future, hopefully get something done, which is wrong, because your world can only show you what you already have. So, or do you imagine to fully be it right now, right here, without even the need, without even that, oh, I do this to get it. No, with the full, like, devoting yourself and bathing yourself to the wish fulfilled in the here and now moment. The wish fulfilled can only be experienced in the here and now moment, and then that wish fulfilled is mirrored back to you in form of the manifestation in the outside world. Another stumbling block is this. I can't see myself healthy or wealthy or with my desire. I can't see myself with this and that. I can't imagine myself having achieved X, Y, and Z. First of all, you don't need to see yourself with your desire. You don't even need to manifest the desire itself. Neville never said this. I never said this. The statement is always you imagine something that implies the wish fulfilled. Right? Let's just say you already have achieved the goal. What happens after that? What do your parents tell you? What do your friends tell you? What do you do differently? How would you feel? How do you see your world now with the wish fulfilled? But the desire itself is not even in the picture. Right? There are infinite imaginative activities that imply that you have your desire. It can be a congratulation. It can be you waking up differently. It can be you going to bed differently. It can be you doing something in your day-to-day life differently. But your desire does not even have to be in the picture. You can hear the voice of a friend, feel and hug. Right? And it's not about what you see, feel, or hear. It's about what that act implies. Right? So I had this very often that I imagine something. So I imagined the scene that implied something for me. But the exact scene didn't play it out. That's not what you should be after, that the exact scene plays out. No, that's not relevant. But what does that scene imply to you? What does it mean to you? What state does that scene connect you with? That's way more important, because that is then mirrored back to you. So I had this very often, that I imagined the scene did not play out, but whatever that scene implied to me, that desire perfectly manifested in my world. And you can utilize any method to anchor yourself in the desired state again, right? So you don't even have to visualize, right? Imagination encompasses all senses. It's not that you have to see something. You can hear, you can touch. You can just say, I remember when I had this, or I was like this. I did not have this. Now it's normal for me. You can just decide for it. You can intend it. You can just ask yourself, how would I feel if I now have it? So there is no need to see yourself with your desire, right? And it's important that you do it with ease, with fun, and that you do it naturally, and that you don't force things into being, because force will create more force. Another one is this. Can I manifest events along the way? So this is, these are the people that ask, can I manifest in stages? Can I manifest step by step? What if I manifest first this, and then my final goal? So my answer to that is, yes, you can, but why would you? Like, why would you not immediately go straight to the end? Usually that is because rationally, you think rationally. You're still too identified with the rational mind that thinks chronologically, and you think, okay, I first manifest this, then this allows me to manifest the next step. I manifest the date, and then this, and then the commitment, and then being happily partnered. I first manifest that this goes away, and then the symptom goes away, and then I take this, diet, and then I feel healthy. Same with money, same with business success. When I first manifest some more clients, and then this, and then that, and then finally being a successful business owner. No, that's not how the law is, like what the law utilizes. That's not you actually utilizing your real power, which is to go straight to the end, right? It doesn't matter what you believe right now. When you go into the wish fulfilled state, you will automatically believe something that right now, out of your current state, is not really believable rationally. So you don't need to manifest in stages. Go straight to the end. Like Neville always said, the end is where we begin, not the middle, not the beginning, not a step in between, the end. Because the end is where the satisfaction lies. If you manifest only like steps along the way, you will all the time you have to go and imagine the real end. Because usually the steps in between, these are not really what you desire. This is only what you think is easier to manifest from your current state. But why not go right now immediately into the end state? So I'm a fan of going to the true end, because this takes the questions and the doubts and the worries, like how will it happen, when will it happen, what else needs to happen before that can finally happen. It takes all of that away, because you automatically, or you instantly go to the real end of what you actually want. And reminder, very important reminder, you can never mess things up, right? There is no power outside of I am. So let's just say even you manifest something along the way. Let's just say that maybe it does not go fully to your liking. Still, the end and the desired state has not ceased to exist. That is still always there for you, waiting patiently for you to be occupied. Okay? Another one is this. Am I on the bridge of incidents? Can I miss an opportunity? So these are the people that are not sure about if the bridge has already started to unfold, if they should like go for this opportunity, for that opportunity, what if they miss an opportunity? Is now the desire gone? So first of all, just so you know, you're always on the bridge. Right? After entering a state, everything happens automatically to fulfill your state. The outer you is always bound to basically encounter where the inner you stands. So if I imagine going to that concert, I will physically go there. If I imagine having achieved that success, whatever is externally needed for me to get me to where I stand within, I will do that externally automatically. So in that sense, you're always on the bridge. You can never mess it up. And even if you seemingly missed an opportunity where you say, oh, I should have taken that, it doesn't matter. The end state is still available. It's still not gone. You can re-enter it back and then new opportunities will come along your way so that this desired end state specifically can perfectly express in your world. And never judge the bridge, right? Let it happen naturally. Never judge based on the current circumstances. This is a big problem, right? People, they judge on what is there right now and what is currently unfolding. They don't trust that end state. They don't let that end state lead. I also do have a video on that, which is called Let the State Lead. I will link this one above right now as well. Because when you let the state lead, then the state will provide you with the right actions, the right impulses, the right thoughts, the right reactions. Like all of that will basically come from that end state. But if you judge based on what is right now, these are the people that say, oh, my circumstances get worse. And why do my circumstances get worse? I went to the end state. Never judge by the circumstances. Ask yourself, what are your reactions to life? Ask yourself, what is your inner self-talk? That indicates where you actually stand within, and only that matters. So if you manifest a higher salary, a better job, maybe you get fired from your current job. But who doesn't say that maybe in 3 weeks from now you get a way, way, way better job, and that was necessary, that you getting fired, that was necessary to actually get you now to that perfect job. So never judge based on the bridges. It can go up and down. It can be really weird and crazy. Trust the end state. Go to the end state, right? Another one. This is something that I have also observed in the community. And that is when people say, I need to let go of my desire in order to manifest it. So they say, I need to let go. So now I did all of these techniques. I did all of that. I understood everything. I need to let go. I need to let go. Here's my statement on that. You can't consciously let go of a desire. A desire is there because it is a desire. So you can not let go of a desire, right? What you want to let go of is the desired state, like the desiring state, but that only happens as a result of you being in the wish fulfilled. As soon as you fall out of the wish fulfilled, you will desire it again because it's not natural for you yet. But you can't do that consciously. You can't just sit down and say, now I let go of my desire, now it's away. No. You letting go of desiring it, of wanting whatever you desire, is a result, is a byproduct of you actually living internally, living in the end, living in the wish fulfilled, dwelling in the end state. So letting go happens automatically when you embody the wish fulfilled and you are self-persuaded that it is done. So don't kind of like go into this rational battle with yourself and be like, I need to let go. I need to let go. And then 3 days later, the desire comes up, but you just tell yourself, no, I need to let go of this desire right now. That's not really correct. Again, focus on dwelling in the wish fulfilled, and while you are in the wish fulfilled, while you live in the end state consciously, while you imagine that, while you live in there internally, while you embody that, while you feel into that, the desire is no longer present. You will observe that, you will notice that, because you can't desire and be in the wish fulfilled at the same time. So letting go means letting go of the doubts, the fears, searching for a solution, searching for signs, thinking about how it's going to happen and when it's going to happen. That is what letting go basically will lead to after you've like shifted into the end state. But that doesn't mean that you can't think any longer about your desire. So you can still think about your desire, and when it comes up, that's not the problem. But just be very like honest with yourself and ask yourself, are you still hoping for it and seeking it and telling yourself, oh, it would be so nice? Then that's an indication that you're not in the wish fulfilled state. Or are you in the wish fulfilled state and you have this confident expectation that it will happen and you kind of already know it will happen? That's very good. But don't focus on like letting go of your desire. Focus on appropriating the wish fulfilled state, and then you will automatically die to that previous desiring state because you now internally live in the wish fulfilled state. Also, it's not a block, but it's another stumbling block, another stumbling question that people have is, can I manifest several things, right? I have several goals. I have a goal and desire in this life area, and this life area, and this life area. How can I manifest all of them? So first of all, can you manifest several things? The answer is very simple, and the answer is yes. And in my opinion, you also should manifest several things. It's very good when you focus on manifesting several things, because first of all, you don't put so much focus, so much like increased importance and attention on one specific single desire, because usually we have several desires in our life. And it's also good to train your manifestation power. Right? And you are the operant power. You decide what you do and how you do it. So you can manifest several things by condensing them, like I said here. Right? You can ask yourself, what would imply that all of these things are true? How would I feel if all of these things are true? What little imaginative scene would imply to me if I experience that all of these things have come to pass? Or you can also do it all individually and have a scene and a technique for that desire, a technique for that desire. And whenever they come up throughout the day, you shift into that end state, you shift into that end state. Or like I said, you create this umbrella end state and identity and ask yourself, if I have all of that in my life right now, how would I then feel? What would then someone say to me? What would I then encounter? And that is what you also can imagine. So your only job is to imagine your desires being fulfilled, even if there is no evidence, right? There will be no evidence. Your senses will deny it, like Neville said. But your desire lays outside of the senses. It's in the unseen reality that you have to like feel into and imagine into and dwell in, and then it becomes normal and natural for you. Then you know it. Still, maybe for the world out there, it's still like maybe an unseen fact. But as long as you stay internally in the wish fulfilled state, it has to be mirrored back eventually, right? So that's it. These were the 9 biggest manifestation stumbling blocks I encountered on my own journey that I see people encountering when they are manifesting their desires. Now, if you found that helpful, I have 2 resources that I can serve you with, basically. One is my free masterclass. I'm sure you are already aware of that. That's the first link in the description. You can click that. Watch that. It's a no hype, no fluff explanation on how to manifest your goals, live self-empowered, shift into the desired version of yourself that already has your desires. And if at some point you realize, okay, you want some accountability, you want some personal support, you want a private community of people that incorporate and apply and internalize all of these teachings that I share on my channel, then you can also apply for my program. That's the second link in the video description, where we can find out together if we are a good fit. And if so, you can jump in and we can work together personally. So that's it from my side. Speak to you soon, guys. Bye.